Hello, this is the Matura Angielski 2024 Rozszerzona. I will provide answer for this one. So I have transcript for the exercise 1, 2, and 3. So we have, from what the speaker says, we can conclude that he believes that I've always been a fan of exercising. Neighbors' reactions are often exaggerated. People should take their neighbors' need to consideration, getting neighbors' permission. Okay, so that will be B. Why? Because I will straight up go to the answer because we have no time. So he said, you never know who might need to wake up early for work or who just wants to get some peace and quiet without any pounding overhead. So he's clearly taking neighbors into consideration. So dba o to, jakie potrzeby mają jego sąsiedzi, bierze to pod uwagę. Which is the best headline for the news? Beach closed due to extreme weather. Scientists alarmed by a rare sight and unusual phenomenon explained. This will be C. Why? Because the smallest were the size of eggs and the biggest are size of footballs. This is really unusual. And they are moved by the movement of waves. Frozen freezes on the surface and grow bigger. And this is quite rare for such a large group of them to be found together. So this one can't be the beach is closed. Scientists alarmed by a rare sight. They are not alarmed. This is an explanation of an unusual phenomenon. This text. When the speaker went scuba diving for the first time, he was equipped, used equipment invented by his father, because at the time my father was one of the pioneers of scuba diving, and the diving gear we used was all his creation. 1.4. When talking about his childhood, the speaker says that he used to travel to various places to see family, because every time I was somewhere different, it was an unusual childhood, but it seemed normal to me. I learned so much about the ocean. Yeah. So he wasn't at the boarding school during holidays because he was at the Calypso during that. He appeared in the films made by his parents. No, he clearly used to travel to various places to see his family. Which is not true about the speaker's mother. So this is going to be B. She was in the Navy she was not in the Navy because her grandfather was in the Navy. She was the daughter of admiral, and she had family members that were naval officers. But the Navy was out of question for a woman at that time, so she clearly wasn't Navy. When answering the last question, when answering last question, the speaker emphasizes that ocean protection is a pressing issue. Why? Because but the clock is ticking, and as a species we must do everything we can do to protect, and that the ocean are the most precious asset and we are heading toward bankruptcy. So this is a pressing issue. Okay, now this one. So 2-1 gonna be D, explains how the elements of a statue are related to a famous person, because elements of statue a statue showing a bronze figure of John's black cat was installed in front of the John's house. The heart is shown sitting on top of a thick book. So this is clearly an element of a statue related to a famous person, because Samuel Johnson was a famous creator of the English dictionary. 2.2, that's gonna be E, announces a change of plans in order to satisfy the wishes of community. Satisfy the wishes of community. We respect the efforts made by local people to keep this statue. And they declare that the Upton Park will remain the rightful home of the champions. Because this is a change in their plans. And they said it will remain at the current location, and they have cancelled our decision to move it. So this is clearly a change of plans. 2.3 C mentions an annual event which attracts people to place. Mentions annual event. Annual event because the Agatha Christie Festival is held in the town every year. And many readers will appreciate the statue. So this is C. 2.4 is F. Identifies the source of funding for a statue of some well-known personalities. The source of funding. So indeed, the club generously sponsored the creation of the bronze sculpture. Yeah. So this is a source for funding of some well-known personalities. Because the Beatles and the legendary band played. Also Deputy Mayor of Liverpool. 2.5 is A. Describes an unconventional hero who helped people in times of trouble. That would be about the bear. So the bear helped Polish troops during the World War II. He was morale booster and he was carrying ammo. So this is unconventional hero. People in troubles means during the war. Zadanie trzecie. So that will be encourages when students construct their models. So that will be here. Learning to work in a team is a skill essential for both your education and future career. So encourages teamwork when students construct their models. The course also includes leisure activities such as sightseeing uh, after the formal dinner on the last day of course. So learning after the formal dinner, which is here, formal dinner, and later the professional instructors will teach you some traditional Scottish dances. So learning traditional Scottish dances after the formal dinner. Accommodation. Friends are accommodated in rooms, and that will be if you course with a friend, we have put you next door to each other, provided breakfast and dinners are included. Printed information about Oxford eateries is available from leaflets. You can pick one up at the reception desk. So the answer is the reception desk because you can pick up the leaflet with all the eateries. Zadanie czwarte. In which paragraph does the author? So 4.1 gonna be B. Give examples of temporary changes which had to be made to complete a task. Temporary changes. So instead of demolishing the beautiful building, it was put on wheels and put to a new location. So it was traveling slowly, but it was certainly not for the first time. Give examples of temporary changes which has to be made to complete the task. Yeah. Instead of demolishing, they lifted the foundation and put it to a new location. Oh, so okay. So the temporary changes are are the wheels. To complete that task, which was moving the building to a new location. 4.2 mention a decision taken in response to a negative reaction from the public. This is D. But 12 were saved from the destruction due to all local residents' anger over the buildings being demolished. So the agency then agreed. So that was the decision taken because of negative reaction from the public. 4.3 is C. Suggests that moving certain buildings was relatively easy due to materials used for the construction. Because it is said San Francisco houses entirely of redwood, they were super light in comparison to brick houses. So this is certain materials which were relatively easy. 4.4 refer to a comparison someone made while observing buildings being moved. That's D. So some witness said that it was like moving a group of giant elephants. So this is a comparison someone made while moving the buildings. 4.5 is a point to a poor condition of a building which was being relocated. Yeah. So it stood vacant and was in need of extensive repair, so it was in a really bad condition. Poor condition. Ok, zadanie piąte. W luki trzeba będzie wstawić. Churchill is a small town in Canada, swept by the northern winds. Something there, they hunt for seals. 5.1 is F. It might be just another dot on the map. If it weren't for its seasonal four-legged residents, every fall hundreds of polar bears walk through the town on their way to the bay. So to mogła być kropka na mapie, ale nie była dla tych czteronożnych rezydentów, bo w każdą jesień setki ich tam przychodzą. To jest jakby wstęp do tego. I później jest dalej o tych niedźwiedziach, że polują na foki. They hunt for the seals. Więc to musi być taki wstęp. 5.2 is E. Why? Because due to his work with the bears and his ability to relate to them, there was always a fierce polar bear in the back of my mind, even when I played ball. 5.2 is E because, but he wasn't always so close to these inspiring yet often unpredictable creatures. The polar bears terrified him because there was a fierce polar bear in back of his mind. 5.3 is A. 900 permanent residents live in the town, and then something eventually closed. So this is also about numbers. When Dennis was growing up, it inhabited 7,000 people, and it's about the United States military fort located 5 miles east from the town, and now it's closed. 5.4 is B. As the Hudson Bay population of bears is gradually shrinking, when tourists visit them nowadays, they start to fear for their well-being in the future. It was a unique opportunity to observe so many of them. Because in the beginning, tourists would be lucky if they saw 10 bears at the most. But the population is gradually shrinking, and when they visit the nowadays, they are worrying about the future, because someday there might be no bears. And 5.5 is C. But things have changed. Sadly, now our promotional students come and see the bears before it's too late. Przyjedź i zobacz niedźwiedzie, zanim będzie za późno. A więc because everyone had such a good time observing the bears, and the animals were a bit nervous, but with time they became accustomed to regular visits. People on the tour could expect to see 20 to even 30 bears at a time. And jako przejście do następnego zdania, że niestety już tak nie ma i nowy slogan jest taki, że przyjdziecie, zanim będzie za późno, a wcześniej było 20-30. Okej. szósta. It's about bookshop. So Mr. Evans wasn't enthusiastic about Grace's presence because felt he had been pressured into taking her on. Because he said, but my wife insisted, I don't need your help. And I finally agreed, so he is clearly pressured. 6.2 Grace started dusting the shop because she wanted to keep herself occupied. And this is there was nothing else. Chciało się. There was nothing else but to find something to do, so she went back into the shop and closed the door. Thick layers of dust on the shelves begged to be cleaned, white clean, so she was bored. And she wanted to keep herself occupied. That means chciała coś zrobić, aby się czymś zająć. Grace replied to the question about black spectacles shows that she was unaware of what the customer meant. Nie była świadoma tego, co klient miał na myśli. A dlaczego? Black spectacles i ona się uśmiechnęła. A myślała, że to właśnie pytanie, na które zna odpowiedź i odpowiedziała śmiało, że nie sprzedajemy tutaj okularów i jest jej przykro. And the woman said, it's a book by someone. And then the earth had opened at the moment she and swallowed Grace. So tutaj zrozumiała, że to nie chodzi o okulary, ale o książkę, o której nie ma pojęcia. I 6.4 Grace tried to find a way out of embarrassing situation with the customer by attempting to get a clue which would help her find the book. Clue to jest wskazówka. So Grace waved to the woman to follow her. Did you find the group exciting? She asked, trying to make what type of book it was. Oh yeah, it was kind of mystery. So she knew it's a mystery, so she went and looked for the mystery books. So she was attempting to get the clue where to find the book. Not everybody realizes that the bookshop scenes in Nothing Hill inside a real bookshop, so were not filmed. Because it's commonly known that the owner of the bookshop refused to allow the film crew to film inside the store. So, scenes in the Nothing Hill were not filmed inside a real bookshop. A campaign organized by a celebrity to save the famous bookshop proved to be unsuccessful because some actors and player and some poets, they had a campaign for the bookshop to be saved, yet the iconic bookshop was closed for good in 2011, so it was unsuccessful. 6.7 Unlike the original bookshop, the Nothing Hill bookshop does not specialize in. So the Nothing Hill bookshop, it operates as a bookshop with a range, subject and titles. It also sells magazine cards and calendars. But it's also about lovebirds and romance. But it doesn't say anything about travel books. It's not like a travel bookshop. So it doesn't specialize in travel books. The romantic associations inspired by the film encouraged some people to propose to their partners during a visit. Because some lovebirds have been chosen, have even chosen it as the setting in which to ask their partners to marry them. So, encourage some people to propose to their partners. 7. Call it Crowded Cities is working on training crows to and pick up cigarettes. A więc będzie trenował kruki do zbierania odpadów po papierosach. Ścięło się? Crows to recognize, ponieważ muszą rozpoznać i zebrać. 7.2. Crows are the most intelligent members of the animal, one of the most of the animal kingdom, and therefore the idea of training them to pick up the litter is not as crazy. I w związku z tym ten pomysł nie jest tak szalony, jak może brzmieć. 7.3. What's more, they respond well to reward systems and are capable. Są zdolne do nauki jeden od drugiego. Idea to use crowds for their project when they, some information about the man, when they came across, czyli gdy spotkały się z taką informacją o mężczyźnie. Came across. 7.5. It releases a piece of food for the crow as a reward. This is done in order to encourage the crow. To jest zrobione w takim celu, aby zachęcić tego kruka do powrotu z większą ilością odpadów po papierosach. 7.6. They find their way from streets to drains to rivers and eventually, because you have something, then something, and then another thing, and then eventually, czyli że w końcu do morza, oceanów. Eventually. Zadanie 8. 8.1. When I look at this widely addiction ensure preference. This winter, a picture of an official road sign from the Canadian National Park were widely shared, czyli że szeroko udostępnione na social media. Under addiction, czyli uzależnienie od soli, jest dobrze znane. During the winter months, road maintenance services use salt to ensure driver's safety. Nie ma takiego słowa jak assure, ale czy by to mogło być assure? Maybe. But ensure is a certain. I would say ensure driver safety. To jakby zapewnienie bezpieczeństwa kierowcom. Used to assure driver safety. It might be also in the key. But now it seems that most have developed a preference for leaking cars, czyli że mają taką preferencję. Do lizania samochodów, które były jakby ochlapane drogową solą. 9.1. Last year, Jack Beaver organized a campaign to protect penguins. So Jack was involved in organizing a campaign to protect penguins. He got soaked in the rain. He should take umbrella before he set off. He should have taken umbrella or an umbrella before he set off. Nobody managed to find easy solution than Susan. Nobody managed to find an easier solution than Susan. She wanted to take the lift, but it be ordered that day, so she had to use the stairs. A więc nie mogła wziąć windy i wzięła schody. But it was out of order that day, czyli że winda nie była czynna. And that's it. Now you have to write 200 to 250. Rozprawka. Ale to każdy umie zrobić. Okay. Thank you for watching, for listening, and I hope you have 100%.